Well, good morning, PENNTEK Nation. A little bit different layout today, but I'll be candid. I've been really, really excited over the last several months as we've been kind of having discussions along the route of inventory management. And so I'll just give a quick backstory why I'm so excited. As you guys know, I get excited pretty easily, but this is going to be exceptional. So several years in the making, I've been meeting with almost a half a dozen different inventory companies and inventory management software, stuff like that. And there just really hasn't been an option that I found was number one, affordable. Number two, gave us the information we needed. And number three, didn't bog us down. I think so many times we're looking at inventory management that's just almost overbuilt and too robust for what we need. But at the same token, we need something that's sophisticated enough to give us real world data. And so huge shout out to the BAM team. They have been working with Nate Hepner and Hepner Consulting and his team for months now, and they have just been a game changer for their business. And so I was introduced to Nate. Nate and I have been meeting for a couple months just to make sure that this is a partnership and an alignment that makes the most sense for PENNTEK. As you guys know, we don't like bringing anything to the network that we don't believe is going to move the needle for you guys. And so I thought, what better way to kind of introduce this new partnership and opportunity for inventory management than to bring on some of the BAM team. So we're joined by Brandon Landro and Rob Macklin, who are on the BAM team, and obviously Nate Hebner, who's the CEO of Hepner Consulting and InventorySync. And so wanted to get them on. You guys don't want to hear me talk. You want to hear the experts talk about what this has done for their business, how they utilize it day to day, some of the exciting offerings, and ultimately what you guys as PENNTEK dealers are going to have access to as a result of this partnership. So I'll shut up. I'll let you guys, if that's all right, just do a really quick introduction of yourself, your involvement with PENNTEK and BAM and Hepner and all that good stuff. So I'll kick it over. Brandon, do you mind starting us off? Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon Landro, the CEO of BAM Coding, has been with the company since day one. Rob and I this all started over a glass of bourbon and a good discussion about a trade show, and we've been part of the journey from the get. So yeah, Inventory Sync has been something that we're really excited about because we believe that there had to be a product out there that would do it. We couldn't find it, and finally we said we know a guy. Maybe he can build it. So there's our guy.
I love it.
Yeah, and Rob Macklin, I'm one of the owners of BAM as well. I'm actually an M&A lawyer by trade and have sold a lot of home improvement companies, private equity, and have sort of turned that into some consulting practice with called Finish Line Strategies, myself and some of the other kind of industry luminaries. And so part of what we did when we were developing this inventory system is looking at a lot of data, a lot of inputs and feedback from companies around the country, both coding companies, but also non-codings companies as well. And we're trying to fill some gaps and fill some holes specifically to concrete coatings, installs, and the PENNTEK product. So we're super excited to share what we've done.
Love it.
Awesome. Well, I guess it's my turn. As everybody said, my name's Nathan Hepner. I own Hepner Consulting. We're an IT firm in the local Midwest area with kind of a national reach. We mainly focus on, your standard IT modern help desk environments, getting your company set up, managed, and kind of working the way you want it to without you ever having to worry about everything. So we're completely turnkey. We come in, we act as an employee inside of your company, we grow that relationship, we kind of foster it to the point that you really trust us with anything that comes up. And then from there, we just make it to where your turnaround times are within seconds, as most people on this call can attest to. Usually when you text me, I'm picking up and we're having a conversation, or one of my team is, to make sure that you're taken care of. So when we were notified about this want from Brandon and Rob for an inventory system, it just kind of made sense because not only are we an IT team, but we also are a full service software development company. So we make our own integrations and software applications, and then we sell those back to our customers depending on what kind of things they're interested in getting into.
Yeah, and that was one thing, Nate, when we first started meeting, like I was just so excited to kind of hear how you guys really are that full service IT solution for your customers. So it goes much more than just, hey, we manage your inventory or we provide you software. It's like, hey, we're going to come alongside you. We're going to give you, IT infrastructure help and things like that. And so it just it was nice to have somebody that was so intimately involved with a concrete coatings company already. I knew you had that industry knowledge, and so it was pretty great and put me at ease. And certainly the endorsement from BAM goes a long ways. But right before this call, I thought nothing summarized what we're going to talk about today better than what I forget whether it was Brandon or Rob that said it, but a lot of people have looked at coatings and said, "Oh man, inventory is like almost impossible with spread rates and stuff like this." And they joke that they're like, "Well, if grocery stores and convenience stores can figure out their inventory, I'm pretty sure there's somebody that can nail down a solution for concrete coatings." And that's exactly what you've done, Nate. So if it's all right, Nate, I'd love to kick it over to you. Give us a quick background of the program. Give us a quick tutorial, if you will. Walk us through what it looks like from an operational standpoint. And we just kind of let it go natural.
All right, sounds good. So yeah, just like you were kind of saying, we have this really unique situation where a lot of organizations like software companies, and you can see this across, I won't name the names, but all the different softwares out there where you get into it and it sounds good and it's really exciting. And then the software looks good and you're happy about it. And then you meet the customer service team and you're like, where did they find these people? Like the times or just it takes forever to hear something. They don't know the software, they don't know anything about it. And you run into all these issues. And the main reason why I think you run into those issues is because you have a really good software and you have good people that build it. And then it's hard to train those people in a customer support situation and say, okay, you need to understand that not only is it the software, it could be the device that's causing the issue, right? My team is a bunch of senior consultants that work solely on devices, managing infrastructures, building software. So when a help desk ticket comes our direction, we're like, oh, we know exactly what this is. Like it could be your device, it could be your phone, it could be your tablet, it could be the, software integration change that Microsoft just made or whatever it is. But we'll be able to figure that out a heck of a lot faster than a just normal help desk support ticket system. So it kind of just made sense from our perspective. We're like, okay, so we can build this really cool software application and give BAM exactly what they're looking for. But also at the same time, we can manage it because we have people that are already trained to support infrastructures for organizations. So I can go through and share my screen. We can kind of get into a little bit of information about Hepner Consulting. Then we'll get into InventorySync. And then from there, we'll get into the actual application as itself and give you kind of a quick little tutorial, what the layout looks like, because I'm sure everybody's kind of interested in what that view is going to be, right?
You bet.
All right, let me know when you can see my screen.
Good to go.
All right, awesome. So like I said, this is Hepner Consulting's website. We have quite a bit of capability that we can handle, whether it's on a local basis or it's on a national basis. The plus side with technology being where it's at today is that you don't need to go to your, local down the street IT company. You can work with us and we can help you the same exact way as if you were a local company because of all the remote capabilities. We can, help you on your devices. We can jump on a call, control everything and make sure everything's monitored for you. And like a lot of people at the companies that Brandon and Rob own, they just want me to come in, take control of the system and fix their issue nice and quick, right? So that's kind of what everybody wants. You don't want to have to learn a new thing. Just come to us. We'll do it for you real quick. And because of our knowledge base and what we bring to the table, we're not going to charge you a lot of money for it. We're going to make sure that relationship stays very constant. So if you have any questions or you're interested in our services, just let us know. And you can find out more about us on this website. From here, if we go to the Sync tab and click on Inventory Sync, this is the website for InventorySync. So you can find it at hepnersync.com. From there, we kind of built the entire website and everything about it based off of like one very simple idea. We want a simple solution that does very difficult tasks, but also in a way that a user can come in and see it and just instantly know exactly what they're supposed to do. It just kind of makes sense, very intuitive. But on the back end, we want it to be super robust. So the individuals that are hiring the company that want the capability for reporting and data metrics, they can gather all that information from there. And then we also want to make it to where instead of just having, one way of doing things where you say, okay, I want to put a barcode on everything, we give you the option where you can have bulk tracking as well. So you can decide, okay, I want to make it to where I'm tracking just one individual item and 5,000 pounds of that item, not one individual bucket and the 40 pounds that's in that bucket. So we give you both of those capabilities with the system, which is a really big game changer because we can't even find that in any of our competition that's on the market. Um, Getting into subscription tiers and stuff, you can check all of that out. There is a dealer integration discount that we give as well. With our partnership with PENNTEK, we're giving every single customer $100 off of their monthly subscription if they decide to turn on the dealer integration, so that Jake and his team can help you really grow and foster your business while also at the same time being able to check out your inventory levels and just make sure that you're using all of your stuff within parameters that they recommend. That way you can get the most out of what you're purchasing from them. If you're interested in anything that we talk about, you can come in here, review the subscriptions per warehouse, and then from there, just select what you're interested in, fill out your information. My team, we've actually decided that because we are a Microsoft shop, we do have a very solid understanding on Google, mainly because everybody that we work with, they realize that Microsoft's better and they have us migrate them from Google, right? So you learn quite a bit about both systems. But with that being said, we're 100% comfortable with taking an hour or two and creating you a Microsoft environment and really just setting it up at no cost so that you can utilize this system more effectively and have a really solid business application. So if you're inside of like a Gmail account or something like that, and you're like, okay, well, this looks a little bit too fancy, we can come in, build that for you at no cost, and then get you on this system using it. And just everything kind of just works out when it's set up the right way. You can always find more information in our most common questions section. Just click the little plus icon and it'll tell you everything about what I just described with bulk inventory and unique ID. As always, you can find more information at this website, or you can contact our team and we can assist you with that. So getting into the website itself, if you want to find more information about the Microsoft program that we're doing, you can click on the Microsoft tab and you can learn about that. The dealer portal is kind of up here as well. So what we did is we took it to where any of our dealers that want to use the system, we completely separated the financial aspect from the application itself. That way there's kind of a security level in there, but also at the same time, we just wanted to put it into the website and make it very clean and easy to use. So any dealers that sign with us, you'll get dealer login access that should be for like an accountant or the owner of the company, and they can access all their information like contracts and subscriptions straight from our website. Now, getting into the actual software itself. So when we set up the environment and we work with your organization and we go through the process of the onboarding, we're going to create an environment that your team can come into and sign into. Now, from there, you'll have your email address, you'll have an associated password. Being in the IT space, people hate passwords, right? It's like the number one thing. You forget them, you just have a horrible issue with them. But people also know dates a heck of a lot better, right? You're going to remember your anniversary with your wife for your health, right? That's a very big piece of it. So what we did is we created the passwords to where they're digits. So just numericals, 6 digits. And then from there, that just makes it a little bit easier to remember. You put in your email, you type in your PIN real quick, you're into the system, right? So when you have, 50 guys using the system and say you have some like giant team structure where you got 10 teams running, you're not going to have a bunch of people trying to remember their passwords and get into the system so that they can log in. You can make sure that users are tracking who checks stuff in and who checks stuff out. So we want to make it really quick. Now, through the system, when you're looking at it, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. But the main idea, like I said, is simplicity. We want it to be where you can see everything up front. There's not a bunch of settings sections. We do a lot of the work that is normal kind of general purpose inventory software on the back end so that it never affects you. And then if you have any questions or you need something changed, we can manipulate it for you. And those are kind of the big points here. So what we're going to do is click sign in. And then from there, it's going to take you into our kind of main dashboard. Now, if you're using any of our additional products that we have, other than InventorySync, those products will also show up right here on this screen where the BAM icon logo is. We can take your logos and put them into the system as well, so they feel a little bit more friendly for your users. Just let us know. In the future, we'll actually have PENNTEK for all of the dealers at the top of the screen. That way we can really kind of facilitate that and make sure that you understand where you're located. So when we click this screen, this is kind of the main working dashboard for InventorySync. So off to the left-hand side, kind of starting at the top, we have your inventory check and check out. That's going to be mainly for your installers. We then have the inventory management system. You can get in there and you can add different types of flakes, chemicals, supplies that you use on your job, the associated prices for those things as well. So you can get your pricing categories down. Then from there, we have the job builder. That's going to be coming soon. And that's pretty much your pick sheet, right? It's going to have your formulas based off of what PENNTEK says are the ways you want it. But then also in the admin center, you can tweak those preferences when that's released, and you'll be able to, update them to really specifically what you think is going to be the best for your business. Then from there, we have the inventory transaction section that gives us the capability of seeing everything that happens in the system. And then also a screen that gives us the capability of grouping everything that happens specifically to one project itself. Then we get into the reporting section, and it's very basic Power BI reporting capability, but it gives you everything that you need right up in front. It's simple, right? That's the goal. So in time, we will be deploying new features and new changes, but we're always going to keep it in our mind that we want things to be simple and easy to use. So with that being said, then we have the admin center where you can manipulate your users and your jobs. So going into these systems, so our user layout for usually a demo with a client, when we go through this process, we kind of start from the beginning and we kind of move through the end. I'll save a lot of that because it kind of takes a bit of time to really set up one barcode and structure, about 15 to 20 minutes. So the process here is you would pretty much create a user. You click the new button, you get to pick the types of roles you want inside of the system. Each role, now that we've kind of gone through the explanation of what this looks like, this is the role breakdown structure that we have. So the installers themselves get access to the check-in and the checkout screen, and then the job pick sheet, right? Because that's really all they need access to. They need to pull stuff from inventory and they need to know what they're pulling. For the team leads, they'll get access to inventory management records, so they'll be able to change some very specific things, but they won't be able to change things like what types of flakes you're using, what types of chemicals, or alter prices or anything like that. Warehouse workers, they'll get the capability to where they can have full management of the infrastructure. So they can go in there and they can say, okay, we're changing the price on this. We're changing what we have in inventory, as well as do the checking and checking out and manipulating the pick sheets. The office workers have pretty much complete capability inside of the system. They're able to do everything other than one specific thing, which the admins are allowed to do, which is the reporting aspect. So the system that we built, the reason why it's cost effective and it's considerably lower than all of our competition is because we're not really looking at this as like, this is our thing that we're going to make a bunch of money on. What we're looking at it as is a category where we give you software that you really need, and we're able to build a relationship with you and show you our other services and help you really grow and really fit into this modern workplace that we find ourselves in. So with that being said, the prices for creating users, they're just straight MSRP. What it costs us to do it is what we charge you, and we don't do markups on all that type of stuff. So our prices are very transparent in how we do things. And the admin seats have Power BI built into them, which is a $25 a month license charge. Now, inside of our subscription section, all of your license seats, those are automatically added into your subscription. So for the $620 a month, you get 5 user seats and you get 2 admin seats. So you get that capability for reporting. And then on top of that, you get the software and everything in it. Now, the big things that differentiate, and just to go back a step, the big things that are different about how we do business with our software is that in our management tiers that we have for warehouse, instead of saying, okay, you get 25% of our software that we've built for blank dollar amount that you're comfortable with, and then you get 50% for something that kind of makes you uncomfortable, and then you have to take out a second mortgage to pay for all of the stuff that we make, right? We don't want that. So at the bronze level tier, you get complete access to every single feature that we have in the system right out the gate. So for the lowest cost that we have, you get everything and you get access to it. You can add more users, you can add more warehouses at that tier. You don't even have to step into silver, gold, or ruby. The silver, gold, and ruby, like, I'm just an honest guy. I served in the U.S. Army Infantry, presidential escort, love my country, want to work my butt off as hard as I can. And we break that down in our tiers. So the tiers really just add in more IT services, give you the capability of having somebody manage your infrastructure the same way BAM Coatings does. Them being in our Ruby tier, it makes a lot of sense because then they're able to help us as beta testers and really tell us what we should do to the system and change things up. So the whole pricing structure is transparent. We want it to be very simple and easy for everybody that's involved in it.
Thanks, Nate, for
So
being honest and forthcoming on pricing. I feel like we do these and people don't talk about price until the very end. So
well,
I,
that's where
I
they want to price
greatly
gouge you, right?
appreciate it. That's
Yeah,
right.
that's
That's right.
that's our whole industry. So like the IT space, the price gouging is like very apparent. You'll talk to an IT admin and they'll tell you, "Hey, you got this, you need this software, you need this security, you need this thing and all this other nonsense." But the fact of the matter is that Microsoft has all that built in, so they're really just trying to charge you for no reason. So
And
my business doesn't do that. My team doesn't sell that type of stuff, and we don't allow that inside of my company and the way we do business. So
so we're
now that
going to
we've gone
share this
through,
out. Nate, I know that we're going to share this out with PENNTEK Nation here and 200 plus companies that the overwhelming majority do not have something for this. And you look at like another subscription service and you're like, shit, like I'm already kind of half turning my brain off because I don't want to buy something else. We we went into this knowing that there's going to be an upfront lift for BAM coatings to get this thing off the ground, but knowing in the long run we're doing it to make money. And I would also like just take a second to say kudos to PENNTEK for actually embracing an inventory system when the goal of the inventory system for all of us as dealers is to stop wasting product. And when we waste less product, we buy less product. But PENNTEK looks at it like we want to make you dealers profitable and successful and keep you in the game. So that was something that we were out of the gates. We're like, hey, man, we got to figure this out because it's difficult. And I think you should talk a little bit. Nate gets rolling on the tech part of it, but like, what do the day-to-day operations look like in like the warehouse? Like, what's happening and how are they using it? And I do love that you're like, I'm going to make this stuff easy because as small business owners, we have to be the accountants, the IT people, the legal people. And the worst thing is when your lawyer talks to you like you're a lawyer, your accountant talks to you like you're an accountant, your IT guy talks to you like you're an IT guy. Like, guys, I'm a coatings guy. Talk to me on my level and tell me what it means for me. So tell them what it means for them and how they're actually going to deploy this and save money using the program because this isn't a way for PENNTEK to just roll out another thing to sell us. I really am impressed that you guys even leaned into this at all.
okay. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Thanks for changing the kind of placement there. We've done this in a couple meetings. I've done it with this real estate company and I've been talking, I'm passionate about it, right? So I love the tech side. But that, becomes technical, right? So thanks for that one, Brandon. All right, so this is how you set up a user, and we'll kind of get out of the system. So you have the capability of setting up users, you have the capability of setting up jobs. You can pick the job type between repairs, because obviously you guys do repairs occasionally. So you have your standard, you have your repair capability. Getting back to the main screen, what we're going to do is get into the adding inventory into the system. So adding inventory into the system, like I said, you can add all your different types of stuff that you use for this. This software is built specifically just for coding, right? So everything is mindset based around that. We don't need to add things for paints and all this other stuff. It's meant to be used for your industry. Into the inventory records section. So this is what an inventory record looks like. Now you have the capability to, as I said, do unique IDs or bulk IDs. This whole setup that I'm going to show you is the bulk based ID, which is also what BAM Coatings does. So you have a barcode and it's for a specific type of flake. Then from there, you have the status. So you know it's in inventory and you have the location. So you know where it's at. And then you have the weight. That's really all the content you need. Everything else underneath this is all related to test information. So the users that check stuff out and the jobs that it was used for, this is all your transaction data. You have the capability where you can search inside of here and do that kind of stuff as well. Now, this is where you would add inventory into the system. So you would hit, I want something new. So you'd come over here and you select new, and then you scan the barcode of Crimson Flake, which is the same barcode. You'd scan that barcode. And then if you type some stuff into here, you'll get this pre-population. And then from there, you would have the flake, the chemical, and the supplies. You select what you need to do, and you can add stuff into the system. If it's the same barcode, all you would do is just go and scan for the search. You'd look for this barcode, and then from there you would just type in the addition to the weight, whatever you're adding. So if it's 4,000 pounds or an extra 2,000 pounds or something like that, you could increase your inventory.
And Nate, are
Getting back,
they're sticking individual barcodes on their buckets, on their boxes, stuff like that, correct?
so there's two ways of doing it. So you can take the individual barcode and you can put it on every single bucket and flake, and you can get super detailed tracking of everything that comes into the inventory and everything that leaves. The other way is bulk inventorying, which allows you to take one barcode and say that this barcode represents Crimson Flake. And then from there, you can scan that barcode, weigh the amount of flake you're putting into your inventory, and then just update the number.
Awesome. That makes total
Yeah.
sense.
So
That'll be
two
a good question
separate
for
ways of doing
everybody.
it.
The difference between saying a gallon or a bucket of top coat went out or that bucket of top coat went in or out. So, and I think we've all been there as like, whether you're warehouse manager, owner, whatever, or even an installer where they're waiting on product and a PENNTEK delivery comes in and it's all saran wrapped and like the box knives come out and it's like they're jumping on that and you're like, oh my God, before it all disappears. This is where your inventory manager, your warehouse manager, somebody has to like, hey man, I'm in charge of receiving this stuff. I'm going to scan it all into inventory. We know it's adding a step, but we have to keep track of what's coming in and out of the warehouse all the time. So this is what, was the first part of building inventory management is when it's coming in, how do we make sure that we're accounting for? How do we make sure that we got everything that we ordered? The people that are stocking it or that are shipping at PENNTEK are human too. And, did you get shorted a box of something? And you'll catch it instead of just cut the saran wrap and throw it on the shelves.
Exactly. And this makes it a lot faster to get inventory off the truck and into your warehouse as well. So from there, if we go back to the inventory management is where we were just at. If we go into inventory check and check out, that's what your installers are going to do each day. From there, this is what the user layout looks like. So if we come and find that same record that we were just looking at, from there, we know that it's in the Appleton location. We know that it's in inventory right here. And then from there, we have the weight and we have the service call capability. So the best way to look at this system is that this is a fresh layout every single time. So when you come in here and you click, edit, and then you say, okay, I'm taking this to the job site and I'm going to be doing 200 pounds is what I'm taking with me. You can then mark it down as a service call, yes or no. And then you select the appropriate job and you select the user that's taking it out. And then you hit save. And then from there, that updates the record with that information.
And one thing that I loved when Nate was walking us through this is you'll actually be able to see the life cycle of your product. So what job did that touch if it's on the micro level? But for I think a lot of us, and certainly what BAM has seen, is going more on the macro level to know, okay, here's what we have in stock, here's what's going to be on each job, here's what we need, here's what's checked in, checked out. Like that's the benefit that I think we see. And it's super simple, which is great. I've seen so many of these where it's like 30 fields that they have to fill out, and this is relatively easy to do.
Yeah, our installers don't want complicated in the morning when they're loading trucks at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. They need it to be easy. So we have this all set up. It doesn't have to be typed in. Nate built the capability for us to use barcode readers. So we got the little guns, got a couple of cheap laptops by the corners of the warehouse, and the guys just start grabbing their stuff and they're in and out pretty quick.
And what we're actually moving to now is we've got scales on all of the trucks, and the next update that comes out, these guys will be scanning it with their phones, so they can weigh in and out, whenever they need to. And that weigh in and out process is the critical piece, right? If you think about what do you need an inventory system for, right? It's answering a couple of questions. One is how much stuff do I have right now, right? When do I need to order more stuff? How much stuff did I use, right? And you need all of that to sort of know, like, can I install jobs tomorrow? But also for financial statement purposes, how much inventory did I use in the month of July, right? You need to know all that for if you're doing accrual accounting. But the other piece that this, by the way that Nate has set this up, is now because this is all tied to an individual job, right? We can now go in and pull a report that says, we started with 100 pounds of this, right? We checked out 100 pounds for job number one. We returned 70 pounds for job number one. Therefore, we used 30 pounds of this on job number one. Okay. How much did that cost me? How much did I spend on that? And how much money did I make in that job? I gotta say, outside of this business, outside of the concrete coatings piece, I mean, inventory costing every single job, doing a job costing every single job that you do in home improvement is pretty much standard practice for any company of any sophistication at all, sort of period in a story. It's a lot easier, frankly, if you're, let's say, a window company and you've ordered, 17 windows for Mrs. Jones's home. I kind of know, like, because they're all custom. I know how much that cost, and I think people sort of neglected this in the coatings field, in the coatings space. But when you think about, if you've got 5 crews running, that's 5 leads. Maybe they have different helpers. You've got 3 different sales reps selling. What's the commonality? Like, does this one crew use more product or less product? Does this one sales rep routinely underestimate how many square footage, what the square footage of a garage is, because maybe they're just bad at it, or maybe they're trying to reduce the price and they know you've given them a square footage price that they can't go below. So all of that data, by tracking this on an individual basis, although it seems like an extra step, um, is a big deal. If you think about it in your mind, you go, how much does a bucket of top coat cost me? A bucket of part A top coat. How much coverage do I get out of that bucket, right? How much should it cost me? And then break it down into, just go this. There's 128 ounces in a gallon. How many ounces did I use? Because when you're talking dollars per ounce, sometimes, right? Like, getting this really, really specific and really, really granular, and understanding, like, hey, this one crew is using 4% more than this other crew. Like, it's a big deal. And if you think about how much, just run your own math, run it through your own P&L. Um, it's really super important to understand exactly how much you're using, down to the ounce in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and you couldn't do it on an individual job basis. The sales guy or the crew or somebody's going to have an excuse as to why they used too much on that. The concrete was rough. It was really sucking up a lot of. You can't judge it on one job. But once you're like, hey, this crew has installed 80,000 square feet and this crew's installed 100,000 square feet. But now I can start seeing, okay, you did 80,000 square feet and I know how much top coat you used. You're doing a lot better than this crew that did 100,000. They're using 20% more than you. They can't explain it away or make excuses once you get some scale and some perspective to it. So that's where we don't want to be, as owners or managers, we don't want to be micromanaging and like individually working out every single day. We couldn't do this without the technology or hiring multiple full-time people just to weigh product and keep spreadsheets. Like, this technology saves a ton of work.
Thank you. Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted it to become, right? We wanted it to be simple. We wanted it to be also robust and give the people that need access to that kind of data the way it is. So a lot of the things when we were first building this software and having it beta tested and really just working through the struggles of it, was the warehouse manager, Terry at BAM Coatings, coming to us and being like, I have to click 10 times to do anything. And then we're like, okay, well, what do you have to click? And then we're like, okay, the next meeting, it's like, I have to click now only 5 times. And now we've got it down to where it's 3 times. It's 3 clicks and you're out of the warehouse. So we're like, okay, that makes it a lot faster. And then the change from doing unique ID to bulk ID, that made it to where instead of scanning out every single individual item, it gave companies that don't want that detailed of access to come in and say, okay, we just want to scan everything from that one flake. So 5 buckets of flake at the exact same time we want to take it out. So that just makes it even faster to get it out your doors. So that's kind of the big points here. With that being said, we do have those 2 categories that Rob was discussing and the capability of exporting that data. So we have it in product transactions, and then we have it specific to each job. The layout for product transactions looks similar to this. Anything that's not being done in the system, it doesn't show up. So it's just a blank field. That's why you're seeing that. And then from there, you have the capability of hitting download, and you can just export all of that to a CSV. And then that information you can create into whatever you'd like it to be. Now, if there's something that you find yourself creating and it's different than what we offer, let us know, and we will take that information, we'll build it into a report. That way, everybody has access to the same features. Because while this is a situation where there is competition here, we came to PENNTEK because of the way the dealer structure is structured with regionals, and people aren't operating each other's spaces, which makes it to where there should be a camaraderie level here, right? So this being the first company we're releasing this to and giving you this advantage above all of the other distributors out there, as well as the other companies that are working with those, help each other. All of this information that Brandon and Rob have given you is fantastic for running your industry. It's what got them to the level that they're at now. So with that being said, if you have something that you think is really great and it's working well for it, send it to our team and we'll try and integrate it into the system so that it can help everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, Rob,
Yeah,
Rob and Brandon, would you guys just touch on the impact that the reporting and the visibility has had just in your business right now?
yeah. So I think there's a couple things. One, as Nate said, right, the software is constantly being updated and there's a new release coming out, and we're super excited to get to see that. Um, I do know done a little software work myself for some software companies I've been part of, right? And what's really unique about what Nate's got here is it is very specifically designed for coatings, and it's built in such a way that it is constantly being modified, updated, and improved. So even a lot of what I want to see, Nate's told me next week, and then I actually built some spreadsheets out that do job costing, that will go through and say how much do we use on any given system or any given job? What did that cost us? What should we have made? Automatically flag some colors, red, yellow, green, for sort of good, bad, and the ugly. And Nate's going to build that into the system for us, probably the next release that comes out. We had some major discoveries doing with this software and combining with the reports that'll get integrated into the software in the future. Specifically around our materials cost. We said our materials costs are too high. Why are they too high? Right? We were able to say, well, okay, we're not really using too much flake. We're not really using too much base. We're not really using too much base A or base B. Mender kind of doesn't really, I mean, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but it's not a huge driver of cost. Okay, wait a second. Our top coat usage on average across like everybody in the entire company is too high. And so it was interesting. It wasn't as if one installer was good and one installer bad. Like everyone was using things. So we start digging it out. Why is that too high? Brad, our GM, present GM, starts making some calls. Like, how often are you changing your scraper blades? When are you actually scraping? How often are you changing your squeegees? Okay, let's start to look at that. Like, well, we were trying to save money on scraper blades. Well, it doesn't really work that way because they're not sharp enough. You're not cutting the flake, and the flake doesn't fall, and therefore you're using too much top coat. So by looking at this, we're able to say, wait a second, this is a systemic problem that we have in the company because we have this data that says our top coat utilization is too high. It's consistent across everybody. It's not really installation technique, but there are some other things that we can do to bring that top coat usage down. And so we're starting to dig into that. So it's funny. We had the data for a while because we had been collecting information, but we hadn't really put it together in a spot where we collated it. So as we built these reports out, as we put these things together, and as the system continues to evolve, we'll get to the point where every single day we're looking at jobs that were off. Like, we used too much material. We used too little material. That's also a problem, right?
Yeah.
What happened? Did we mismeasure the job? Did an installer forget to put top coat down? I mean, it's stupider things have happened. And so it's a big deal. And again, I'd encourage you to go back and say, what does a gallon of top coat cost me? How many square feet am I getting out of that? And just simply say, if I can actually reduce X by 10% or whatever it's going to be, run the math on your own P&L, and it's going to be dramatic as to how much of an improvement that'll be for your company. And you can't do that unless you have the data in the first place. Otherwise, you're just guessing.
Yeah.
Rob's the only one that likes spreadsheets more than me. And he kind of nailed it. It's just giving you the ability as the leadership in your company to make data-driven decisions.
Yeah.
And I reiterate what he said. Go back and look at, in a month or in a quarter, whatever frequency you're ordering, how much did you spend on top coat? Or how much did you spend on base coat? Or how much did you spend? If you can save 5% on your materials costs, I'm willing to bet InventorySync is free.
Yeah.
And you're doing the job the right way. And for the third time, I'll say, I think it's very cool that PENNTEK is actually leaning into this and saying, I want to help our dealers run better businesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's where candidly, like, we as a manufacturer, like that's our heart, right? Like, we believe that, hey, we're going to give you guys all the tools, or as many of the tools as we can, that's going to help you run efficiently. And in the end, it's just going to make you a better business. And ultimately, my ulterior motive, you run a more profitable business, you guys are able to grow more. And at the end of the day, you get more crews on the road, you're going to end up buying more buckets from me. And so it's a win-win. symbiotic relationship. It just makes total sense. Nate, what I'd like to kind of shift to now is just kind of next steps. So we've got a lot of people that are going to want to kind of do a deep dive. This was really just meant as an intro to be able to show people, obviously how the program works a little bit at a high level. Best next steps, Nate, would be for them to schedule, I would assume, a demo call with you or somebody on your team. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. So what you would do is you'd come onto our website at hepnersync.com. You'd figure out what tier you want to be at. You don't have to, like, by filling out the information, it doesn't lock you into anything, right? We'll do the demo. We'll show you the system. We'll talk with you, figure out what your needs and your wants are. If we can help you grow into any of the other tiers, great. Let's definitely set that up and get you more hours and more users into the system in those tiers if you need to. All you have to do is just come to our website, scroll down to the bottom, select whatever tier you're interested in, fill out the information, and then from there, select any of this other detailed information we discussed already and hit submit. From there, you'll receive an email that will have a link to schedule a discovery session so that we can sit down and talk about the demo, or else one of my guys, they'll reach out to you. Really, one of those things will happen before the other. So, and then when we reach out to you, we'll start the process.
Yeah, and we'll include a link when we post this discussion on our pages and on our newsletters and things like that. And I would just encourage you guys. I did a demo with Nate a few weeks ago, and it's a quick process. He's really able to walk you through what you guys want to see. So if you're like, all right, treat me like I'm an installer and I just got into the office, Nate's going to be able to walk you through what that looks like. Hey, speak to me like I'm the owner and I want to be able to pull reporting. I want to be able to see some of this information. He's going to do that. And so I would just encourage you guys, like, when in doubt, I would really encourage you guys to schedule that demo, at least chat with Nate or a team member to learn a little bit more. And I just think it's a no-brainer for a lot of our dealers that are looking to keep better tabs on the product that's in their warehouses.
And BAM Coatings, and more specifically Rob, is we're going to keep the lines of communication going with Nate. I don't know how many versions of this we're on now.
7.
They're he's rolling out updates at a staggering pace. And it's not like when your iPhone updates, you're like, I don't know what changed. Like, you go in there and you're like, oh, this is awesome. This got better. This is faster. This looks easier. I can find this quicker. So those guys are really cooking, but Rob's helping him really understand from a coatings company's perspective what we need to see to be able to make the most out of this.
Yeah, I can't emphasize that enough. This software I don't understand this is a criticism. This is not a criticism of the software. It's a very simple software designed very specifically for this industry, right? If you think about, probably most of you use Builder Prime, right? Or most of you use QuickBooks Online, right? Those software products have to serve the needs of, a window company or a bath company or a coatings company, which means they have to make compromises in what they're doing. This is a hyper-focused, hyper-specific solution specifically for this product, and frankly, specifically in a lot of ways for PENNTEK product.
Yeah.
So what that means is the value that you get compared to what's there is, like, everything that's in this is going to be useful. Every feature here is helpful and useful in some way, unlike other software packages you may have seen. So I do think that the value of this is specific. And because it is so focused and because it is so hyper specific, as Brandon said, it's constantly being updated. And because of the way it's built, if one of you has this great report on, man, I have an Excel file that I track the weather on any given day, and I can put in that weather file and figure out my top coat utilization on if it's raining versus if it's snowing versus if it's dry. And you go, hey, Nate, do this. He could probably fit it in somehow. And, like, let's put a weather toggle in on the job costing report.
Yeah.
And we can figure that out, right? You could never do that. You could never go to Builder Prime and have them do that, as wonderful as the product is. Like, it just doesn't work. The nature of this product being so specifically designed is a really, really big bonus, I think, for us as PENNTEK dealers.
Yeah, agreed. Well, hey, we'll kind of cap it there. I would encourage you guys, if you have more questions, reach out to your regional sales manager. They will have some more information from kind of a PENNTEK lens through Hepner and InventorySync. And when in doubt, schedule a quick demo with Nate and his team. Brandon, Nate, Rob, thank you guys so much for coming on. It's just a joy to have you guys be able to share your experiences. And Nate, sincerely, thank you for building the best inventory management platform we've ever seen. So thank you so
Thank you.
much, everyone. And certainly, yeah, reach out if you have any questions.
Thanks, Jake.
All right. Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Jake.
Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna hit stop record.